Welcome to our channel Space Explorer 2024. Today, we dive into Israel-Palestine conflict. The Israel-Palestine conflict is one of the world's most enduring disputes. Its roots are deep, entangled in historical claims and religious significance. For over a century, these peoples have struggled for land and self-determination. The land, sacred to both Jews and Muslims, has seen centuries of shifting empires. The British Mandate for Palestine led to growing tensions between Jews and Arabs. The Holocaust fueled the Zionist movement for a Jewish state. In 1948, Israel declared independence, triggering the First Arab-Israeli War. The war resulted in Israel's victory and the displacement of Palestinians. This event, known as the Nakba, remains a source of continued resentment. Decades of wars and uprisings have further entrenched divisions. The Six-Day War in 1967 resulted in Israel's capture of key territories. The military balance between Israel and Palestine is starkly asymmetrical. Israel possesses one of the most advanced militaries in the world, equipped with cutting-edge technology, a robust defense industry, and significant international support. In contrast, Palestinian armed groups operate with limited resources, relying on outdated weaponry and facing severe restrictions on their movements and capabilities. Israel's military prowess is undeniable. Its air force, equipped with sophisticated fighter jets and drones, dominates the skies. Its ground forces are well-trained and possess a wide array of armored vehicles and artillery. Furthermore, Israel has developed a sophisticated intelligence apparatus, enabling it to monitor and preempt potential threats effectively. On the other hand, Palestinian armed groups lack the advanced weaponry and technological capabilities of their Israeli counterparts. They predominantly rely on small arms, rockets, and mortars, often obtained through illicit means. Their operations are often characterized by guerrilla tactics and asymmetrical warfare, aiming to exploit vulnerabilities and inflict symbolic blows rather than engage in direct confrontations. The disparity in international support further exacerbates the military imbalance. Israel enjoys a close military alliance with the United States, receiving billions of dollars in annual military aid and benefiting from intelligence sharing and joint military exercises. This unwavering support provides Israel with a significant qualitative and quantitative edge over its adversaries. The ongoing conflict has had a devastating impact on the lives of both Israelis and Palestinians. For Palestinians living in the occupied territories, daily life is often characterized by movement restrictions, economic hardship, and the constant threat of violence. The presence of Israeli settlements considered illegal under international law further exacerbates tensions and limits Palestinian access to land and resources. Checkpoints, roadblocks, and the separation barrier, erected by Israel for security reasons, create significant obstacles for Palestinians, hindering their ability to work, study, and access essential services. The Gaza Strip, under Israeli blockade for over a decade, faces dire humanitarian conditions, with limited access to electricity, clean water, and essential goods. Israelis, too, live with the constant threat of violence. Rocket attacks from Gaza and the West Bank, while often intercepted by Israel's Iron Dome defense system, instill fear and disrupt daily life. The trauma of past conflicts and the ever-present possibility of renewed violence cast a long shadow over Israeli society. The conflict has also resulted in significant psychological trauma for both populations. Children in particular bear the brunt of this trauma, growing up amidst violence, fear, and uncertainty. The cycle of violence and retaliation has created a legacy of pain and mistrust, making the path to reconciliation even more challenging. The Israel-Palestine conflict has long been a focal point of international attention and a source of diplomatic wrangling. The international community's stance on the conflict is complex and often divided, with countries aligning themselves based on historical ties, geopolitical interests, and perceptions of justice and human rights. Israel enjoys strong support from the United States, its closest ally, which consistently provides diplomatic backing and substantial military aid. European nations, while generally critical of Israel's settlement policies, often side with Israel on security matters. Many African and Asian countries, remembering Israel's own struggle for independence, maintain friendly relations with the Jewish state. The Palestinian cause, on the other hand, garners significant sympathy and support, particularly in the Arab and Muslim world. The Arab League, a regional organization of Arab states, has consistently called for a two-state solution and an end to the Israeli occupation. Many developing countries identifying with the Palestinian struggle for self-determination have condemned Israel's actions in the occupied territories. International organizations, such as the United Nations, have played a significant role in trying to mediate the conflict and provide humanitarian assistance to those affected. The UN Security Council has passed numerous resolutions condemning Israeli settlements and calling for a peaceful resolution to the conflict. Walls and checkpoints, security measures and their impact. Israel's security measures include a separation barrier, checkpoints, and troop deployment in the West Bank. While Israel claims these prevent attacks, Palestinians see them as oppressive, restricting movement and harming the economy. The International Court of Justice declared the barrier illegal in 2004. Israeli settlements in the West Bank, deemed illegal under international law, further complicate peace efforts. Seeking peace, a history of negotiations. Despite long-standing animosity, numerous attempts have been made to broker peace between Israelis and Palestinians. The Oslo Accords in the 1990s were a significant breakthrough, but ultimately faltered. Subsequent attempts, including the Camp David Summit in 2000 and the Annapolis Conference in 2007, also failed. The two-state solution remains the recognized framework, but continued settlement expansion and distrust cast doubt on its viability. The future of coexistence, challenges, and opportunities. The future of the Israel-Palestine conflict remains uncertain, fraught with challenges and complexities. The absence of a credible peace process, the continued expansion of Israeli settlements, and the rise of extremism on both sides pose significant obstacles to achieving a just and lasting peace. The lack of trust between Israelis and Palestinians remains a major impediment to progress. Years of violence, broken promises, and failed negotiations have created a deep-seated suspicion and animosity between the two peoples. Overcoming this mistrust and fostering a culture of dialogue and reconciliation will be crucial for any future peace efforts to succeed. The continued expansion of Israeli settlements in the West Bank is another major obstacle to peace. Settlements are seen by Palestinians as illegal land grabs that undermine the viability of a future Palestinian state. The international community has repeatedly condemned settlement expansion, but Israel has so far resisted calls to halt construction. The rise of extremism on both sides further complicates the situation. On the Israeli side, right-wing nationalist groups advocate for the annexation of the West Bank and oppose any concessions to the Palestinians. On the Palestinian side, Hamas, a militant Islamist group that controls the Gaza Strip, rejects Israel's right to exist and advocates for armed resistance. A shared destiny towards a peaceful resolution. Despite the seemingly insurmountable challenges, the pursuit of peace between Israelis and Palestinians remains an imperative. The human cost of the conflict, both in terms of lives lost and the erosion of hope and opportunity, demands that all parties redouble their efforts to find a peaceful resolution. Breaking the cycle of violence and mistrust will require courage, compassion, and a willingness to make difficult compromises on both sides. Leaders must prioritize the well-being of their people over narrow political interests and work together to create a future where Israelis and Palestinians can live side by side in peace and security. The international community has a crucial role to play in supporting a renewed peace process. International actors can provide incentives for both sides to engage in meaningful negotiations, offer guarantees for any agreements reached, and help to build the institutions and infrastructure necessary for a viable Palestinian state. Ultimately, the path to peace lies in recognizing the shared humanity and interconnected destiny of Israelis and Palestinians. Both peoples deserve to live in dignity, security, and freedom. Achieving this vision will require a commitment to dialogue, reconciliation, and a shared future based on mutual respect and understanding.